న్యూస్ అప్డేట్ కోసం ఛానల్ ను సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి. పక్కనే ఉండే బెల్ సింబల్ ను క్లిక్ చేయడం మర్చిపోకండి. అప్డేట్స్ ని మిస్ అవ్వకండి.
Very good morning to all of you, to the distinguished guests on the dais. Professor C.H. Hanmantrao garu, Dr. Y.V. Reddy garu, Professor Radhakrishnan garu, Professor Bachi, Professor Schaffer, Dr. Gallup, Professor Gallup, and to the distinguished gathering. Firstly, it's an honor, to be on the same podium as these eminent men. I really feel this is a privilege and an honor. Thank you very much to the Center for Economic and Social Studies for bestowing upon me this rare honor. On a lighter note, let me also add that I suddenly feel younger on this stage as well. Wonder why. Let me quickly, when I was informed that the theme of this event was inclusive development, I tried to gather some thought about what it is that divides us, because when we talk of inclusion, we firstly need to understand what really excludes us, what really separates us, what really divides us in the overall sense. India, as we know, is a very diverse, heterogeneous, very unique country. In fact, I keep saying this many a times, it is United States of India. In fact, it's more like Europe. It's not really a country which is united by many things. In fact, it is a very, very rare combination. People have referred to unity in diversity. People have said several things when it comes to India. It's a very, very pluralistic society. That's what makes it very special. There are many things that divide us. The rural-urban divide, the caste system, the social classes, the geographical boundaries that we've drawn for ourselves in the form of states, districts, blocks, etc., etc. So there are many things that really have, that have created boundaries between all of us. So when you talk about inclusive development, we can safely assume that we are referring to the rural-urban divide, the divide of haves and have-nots, the classes, the various religions, the various castes, the various states, the various talukas, the various monuments, the various districts, etc., etc. But the good news is, India is growing, and India is on a tremendous growth path. I think many of the economists across the world are in agreement on that. Our GDP has been increasing at the rate of 7 to 8%. For a large economy, it's quite an achievement, and it continues to do well. Some may disagree, especially with elections around the corner. Some may have different opinions, but I do believe that as a country, we have been doing rather well over the last couple of decades especially. And the new state of Telangana, since I'm here on behalf of the state of Telangana as a minister, let me also do my fiduciary responsibility. The new state of Telangana, in fact, has been growing at a much faster pace than the country. We've been growing at about 10.4%, a much faster pace than country average. In fact, let me also point out, in the last 4 years of our existence, we took a hockey stick turn right from the formation of the new state, and we've been growing rapidly ever since then. Let me also point out to the economists in the room that as a state, in fact, if you look at the state-owned tax revenues, SOTR, Telangana's growth has been phenomenal. In the last 4 years, we've consistently clocked growth rates above 17% at an average of 17.17%. Telangana's growth rate in its own state-owned tax revenues has been the highest in the country. The second state, that is the state that stood second in the last 4 years, has been growing at about 10%. So the difference is quite stark. According to the UNDP methodology, the per capita growth has, a bearing on decent standard of living dimension, literacy rate on knowledge dimension, and life expectancy on the health dimension. India's literacy rate, as we all know, over the last 5 decades has been steadily growing. Life expectancy also has been growing. And of course, definitely the lives of people in India, across the country, has in general been constantly improving. So is the case with Telangana. The socio-economic transformation is evident. While it may not be as rampant, as quick, as super fast as we would all love to, It is all pervasive, and we can all witness it with our own eyes in the last few decades. Indian economy, as I've pointed out, is improving, and the development is a common theme almost in all spheres of life. What's even more heartening to note is that development and inclusive development and also welfare seems to be the agenda, the point of debate between the various political systems in the country, which is definitely a welcome sign, which augurs well for a democracy. Indian economy, as I've pointed out, has been improving, and thankfully it has also trickled down even to those living at the bottom of the pyramid. This has happened both through the natural laws of percolation, but also because of public policies and active contribution of civic society and affiliated organizations such as the CES. We in India are able to eat better, our consumption is increasing, and it is changing our lifestyles also. Industrialization has increased, and so has the infrastructure such as roads, airports, our seaports, etc. There are more hospitals and more schools than ever before. We could do with more, of course, but the number has been increasing quite rapidly. And as we all know, new economies, especially growing economies and economies that have been growing at a rapid pace, create many new opportunities. And many Indians across the world today are riding on these opportunities, especially in education and employment. However, the key question, I think the point of debate today in today's seminar, is about the fact that not everyone in India is able to tap into these new opportunities at the same level, at the same speed across all social groups. There are some disadvantaged groups which are not able to benefit in the same way from these growing opportunities. We have come to realize across the world, capitalism, free trade, and new economics, while they definitely help a country at a macro level, they do not necessarily guarantee equitable growth, especially when you start with weak institutional framework and less prosperity. In fact, some nations have witnessed a huge widening gap between the haves and have-nots, which have led to revolutions and which have led to governments being taken out as well. Therefore, it has become a stark reality that mandate of the state, when I say state, I mean a government, is to become a welfare state. That means while we strive in the pursuit of excellence to grow and grow quick, we also have to ensure inclusiveness and equitable growth. It is imperative that the governments, be it a state government or a union government, need to take care of the vulnerable in the society to begin with. All social groups need to avail these opportunities on an equal footing, and that happens only when the socio-economic conditions have reached the levels of those who are now privileged. In the state of Telangana, we are deeply committed to the upliftment of socio-economically backward groups and in reducing inequalities, social inequalities in human development through proactive policies backed with bureaucratic action and budgetary sanctions as well. In the recently placed budget of 2018 and 19, Telangana state government has allocated 45,500 crores for social services, which is nearly 43% of the total expenditure of 1,04,000 crores. This is a huge increase from the previous year's allocation of 35,000, almost witnessing an increase of 10%. The state has allocated 16,400 crores to the Scheduled Caste Special Development Fund and 9,600 crores for the Scheduled Tribes Special Development Fund, and both of these backed by statute through an enactment of the state legislature. We also have allocated more than 2,000 crore for the minority welfare and 1,800 crore for the welfare of women, children and the disabled. A unique law, as I've pointed out, has been passed by the state legislature to carry forward these unspent balances from previous years as well to the next year. To benefit these groups, we have launched a number of social welfare programs such as Shadi Mubarak, Amma Bodi and KCR Kids, and for the rural sector rejuvenation also, we've launched several programs which are focused on setting up the rural economy. We've also ensured that the vulnerable in the state, the senior citizens, are given Asara pensions. We also have ensured adequate power supply, in fact uninterrupted power supply to all sections of the society. And we've also come out with some really revolutionary policies, especially on the agrarian front, on the agriculture front. Raitu Bandhu, which is a unique program which has been lauded even by eminent scientists such as Professor Swaminathan and also the Chief Economic Advisor of Government of India, Arvind Subramanian, has been lauded as a revolutionary program. With a 12,000 crore allocation, it supports nearly 5.8 million farmers to invest into farming sector, to make farming more attractive and more lucrative, ideally, by providing 4,000 rupees per acre twice a year. This direct benefit transfer scheme has been lauded as one of the revolutionary steps, as I've pointed out by some eminent people as well. We've also made significant allocations to important sectors such as education. 16,000 crores have been allocated to the education sector. For school education, about 10,800 crores, and for higher education, about 2,400 crores. I do not want to dwell too much on numbers, but let me quickly point out that education has been an extremely important sector for our government. In fact, we've established more than 491 residential schools where we spend 1,20,000 rupees per child in the government sector, and the medium of instruction is English. The idea is to really equip our children with all necessary education and ensure that they are competitive on a global scale as well. We have enrolled successfully more than 2.7 lakh students into these residential schools, and we are proud of the kind of progress they have been making in the last 3 years. Nearly 10 lakh children, 10 lakh students are also provided fees assistance, even if they are getting education in a private sector. Good news is that the human development performance of the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other social groups in Telangana state has significantly improved according to various studies. And the gap between the privileged and the not so privileged has been coming down significantly. But there is, of course, scope for constant improvement on these fronts. Having said this, mere budgetary allocations, mere lip service will never be able to actually bring about inclusive development. We have to make sure that the schemes and funds allocated are utilized properly, ensuring that it is actually received by the real beneficiaries without any pilferage. We have made many changes in our distribution process. For example, most of the beneficiaries today avail the direct benefit transfer system that we've instituted. As a state, as I've pointed out, we're not only committed to allocating adequate budgets, we're also very, very conscious about the policies and back them with provisions, and back them also by necessary laws wherever necessary, to ensure that the socio-economic transformation and the benefits accrued through it reach the disadvantaged groups, and to ensure that the inclusive growth that we all dream of in a country like India is expedited, and Telangana becomes a model state on that footing as well. Once again, I thank CES for this wonderful opportunity, for this rare honor. I hope these deliberations over the next 3 days yield some concrete results, and I hope they will provide direction for young governments in young states like Telangana as well. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share. Follow on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram. For more updates, please subscribe Great Telangana TV.